I still absolutely loved it. My favourite book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Remember, I actually read it in the summer. I am not the biggest fan of young adult. It's like 500 pages long. Hi everyone, so welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Chloe and I am a writer and musician here on YouTube. And today, you can probably tell from the title and thumbnail, I'm finally getting to talk about books. More specifically, books that I read. Don't know if you can tell, but like, I'm excited about this. I'm excited to talk about books. I'm quite passionate about books, obviously, as a writer. You know, I write books, or, well, nothing's published yet, but like, one day I would love to be able to hold my own book in my hand. That would just be so cool. I'm just very excited about this. I haven't talked about books as like an individual video in a really long time, and I feel like I just need to do it a bit more. And so today, yes, I'm going to be talking about all of the books that I read in 2021. And spoiler alert, how many books did I actually read? I'm gonna be completely honest. I only read 9 books. 9! Which is even worse than 2020, because in 2020 I did check and I had read 11 books. And now 2021 was 9 books. I'm actually just a little bit ashamed about it because, to be honest, I feel like my goal is about 12 to 15 books, and obviously I didn't reach that goal for 2021, but I'm still quite happy with the books that I read because I got like really back into it. I kind of came out of a reading slump and I just really enjoyed reading again. Let's just jump straight in with the actual books that I read in 2021. And actually, I'm going to say it now, a lot of the books that I did read I like no longer have in my room, because you can't even see my bookshelf. All you can see is my candle shelf, but above that is my bookshelf, and it's quite full. So I'm like trying to get rid of books after I read them that I know I won't reread again. Some I love, some I don't. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's start off with the first book that I read, which was Every Colour of You by Emilee Read. And no, I don't have this book actually on me still, so I'll just like insert a picture of the cover. And so for a bit of a review, I did quite like it. Like I liked like the idea and everything like that, but I think for me, just the one thing about Every Colour of You is that it wasn't like a standout book for me. Like, I enjoyed it, it just didn't stand out from the others that I had read. The second book that I read in 2021 is called 10 Reasons Not to Fall in Love by Linda Green. And oh my god, even though I don't have this book anymore because it's in my pile of books to go, I still absolutely loved it, and it was like my favourite book. I probably would go as far to say it was one of my absolute favourites that I read in 2021. Like, I just absolutely loved it, and I really want to read it again, but like I just never get the time to like reread books because I've got so many books that I haven't read yet that there's no point going back to books that I've already read, you know. So maybe I will take it out of the pile to go and just pop it back on my bookshelf because I still want to keep it because I did really like it. The third book that I read in 2021 was Meet Cute by Helena. It was also a book that I really enjoyed as well, but probably not as much as 10 Reasons Not to Fall in Love. I did absolutely love it though, to be fair. Like, if I had to rate them all like on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably say that Meet Cute is like a 7 or an 8, but if we're talking about like the stars, because I think like 1 out of 5, because that's more common I guess for books, I would probably like give it a 3 or 4, you know. But I'm just like, the 1 to 10 scale is my enjoyment. So yeah, the Meet Cute was a 7. I reckon it was a 7 out of 10 for me. I did still really enjoy it. I just don't think I would read it again, and that's okay. It's just the fact that I enjoyed it, you know, I feel like it's good enough, you know. And then the fourth book that I read was Openly Straight by Bill Konigsberg, and it was a good book. It was like the first like LGBTQ plus book that I've read solely about that sort of thing, and I do definitely need to read more like that. Maybe like an LGBTQ plus new adult romance sort of book I should look into, see what there is out there in the market, because I myself am bisexual, so you know, gotta support the rest. But I would probably say like it was a 6 out of 10 for me. I still enjoyed Openly Straight. Don't get me wrong, I did like it. It's just something that I wouldn't reread again, you know? And then the fifth book that I read was Instructions for a Second-Hand Heart by Tamsin Murray. It was like a really good book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And the thing is, I feel like with a lot of books that I read in 2021, I feel like I got through them quite quickly, especially the ones that like had shorter chapters, especially like Instructions for a Second-Hand Heart and 10 Reasons Not to Fall in Love. But I would say, you know, 10 Reasons Not to Fall in Love was probably like a 10 out of 10 for me, like enjoyment wise. And then Instructions for a Second-Hand Heart was like an 8 or a 9. So it's above Meet Cute. Like if I had to rate all of these books in an order, I mean I've already kind of done that, but Instructions for a Second-Hand Heart is a really good book and I thoroughly enjoyed it. No, it was really easy to read because obviously the chapters were quite short and it was just really easy to sort of get into. The characters felt really nicely developed, and yeah, it was just a really good book. And yeah, if you're looking for new books to read, young adult wise, I reckon, you know, it's a good book. If you want to read something like that, I would definitely recommend that. And then the sixth book that I read was Lying About Last Summer by Sue Woolman. This one was actually like a really thin book, so it was obviously quite a quick read. I remember I actually read it in the summer. It was because it was so like thin, I got through it within like 2 to 3 weeks, which for me is fast. Like my reading pace this past year has definitely picked up. Like I'm reading books faster, but the books that I read, you know, the list of books that I read really doesn't show that, but you know, my reading speed did really pick up. And Lying About Last Summer, I would probably say is like an 8 out of 10 of enjoyment for me. I really liked it. It was really easy to get into as well. Another great young adult book, and to be honest, I am not the biggest fan of young adult, so for me to say that I really enjoyed a young adult book is amazing, you know. So there's another young adult recommendation from me, though I'm gonna have to say I don't read a lot of young adult. I veer more towards new adult. And then Sleepless in Manhattan. This book I actually have with me, so I can show you. Actually, the last 3 books I do have with me. So Sleepless in Manhattan, I'm gonna have to like get this up close to show you, but oh my god, this book was amazing. It was very well developed. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it. The romance on point, character development on point. I truly feel like I actually learned something from this book. Basically what happens is Paige, the main character, is like an events planner, and she gets laid off her job and she kind of has to like pick up the pieces and she's kind of starts her own business. Yeah, that's like the very basic of it. It's a really good book. Would recommend if you're looking for something new adult. Just so much character development as well. Like, and I love books. I love books that truly show a character changing over time, and this was just, it was an absolute favourite from me. That was like a 10 out of 10. And then the next book I read, I'm going to be completely honest, okay, about these next 2 books, or the last 2 books that I read. So book number 8 that I read was If the Broom Fits by Sarah Sutton. Well, yeah, you can see that it's a really thin book. To be honest, I liked it, but I didn't like it. Like, I enjoyed it. It was okay, but I think because it's just so thin and there's not a lot to it, it was hard to just kind of get into, and I didn't really feel like there was a lot of development to it, but there was still development. Like, I'm not going to say that there wasn't, because I know, you know, Sarah Sutton works so hard to produce her books, and I love watching her on YouTube. But, you know, sometimes when that happens, why have I got a bogey on this book? You know, just because you enjoy watching someone online, it doesn't mean that you're always going to like their products. I found this was like quite an easy read, obviously, quick and simple, but I just feel like it wasn't really for me. I feel like it was just a little bit out of my comfort zone, and it is like a Halloween romance as well. So I love a bit of romance, but on my enjoyment scale, it's got to be like a 5. That doesn't mean to say that I didn't enjoy it. I did, it just wasn't really my sort of thing. And then we're going to move on to the 9th book, the last book that I read in 2021, and I only just finished reading last night admittedly, and it's the 8th. No, it's not, it's the 9th. No, it is the 8th today, and yeah, I just finished reading this. And this is The Christmas Invitation by Trisha Ashley. This is one thick beast. It's a very long book. It's like 500 pages long, and to be honest, I don't think it was worth it. Don't get me wrong, I loved like the plot, I loved the idea and everything like that, but there was no character development whatsoever. The character didn't change from like the beginning to the end. Like, there was no, I just feel like there was no character development in this book whatsoever, and it's not worth reading it. Like, I'm sorry to people that like this, and I'm sorry for like bashing this book, but it's just my honest opinion. I'm not an expert at things like this. This is just my opinion. Other people may really like it. But me, no, I really don't. And for me, this is like a 3 out of 10. Lower than any of the other books that I read throughout the year. I don't get me wrong, yeah, I did really like enjoy it for like the plot and the idea of it, and it was good, but there were parts where it was written too nicely. You know, I feel like the writer's gone for plot and style as opposed to actually developing her characters. So those last 2 books were, well, definitely interesting, but this one more so, because even though I enjoyed If the Broom Fits, like, I'm not bashing it. Like, it's an okay book, it's just not my style, you know, not my kind of thing anyway. And it's not really thin, and it's like you like get into it and then it ends, you know. And this one I would never read this again, and I wouldn't recommend others wasting their time on this either, especially if you're a writer yourself. Nah, this is not the book for you. Just don't read it, or do read it if you want to see what bad character development looks like. A bit of negativity, but they are all of the books that I read in 2021. A bit critical, I know. I think that is now everything for this video though. It's gone very dark in this, but honestly I think it fits the mood so well. I actually enjoyed this video. I would love to know how many books you read in 2021, if you read some good books. If you have any recommendations for me, I would love to know, like more like new adult sort of romance books, maybe some LGBTQ plus books that you've read that you think that I might enjoy based on what I've shared with you today. I would love that. But yeah, I'm gonna leave this video here. If you enjoyed hearing me talk about books, make sure to give this video a massive thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe down below and ding the bell to be notified for every single time I upload. All of my social media links will also be down in the description for you to check out if you so wish to. I'm trying to be a bit more active over on Instagram now. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!